Hello, everyone. Welcome to Empower Your Soul. I am feeling, I don't know. I just got off an amazing reading with a client slash friend slash student. It's all of the above. She's a wonderful woman. And it was such an amazing reading that we had that I really felt inspired to come on here and hit record. And Spirit has helped guiding me onto what I should be sharing with all of you, regardless, because it was an epic reading. And she really trusted to let Spirit talk about whatever Spirit wanted to talk about, which was perfect. Those are the best readings because I just let Spirit roll and you let Spirit roll, and it's an amazing experience. But what Spirit wants me to kind of hone in and talk about this episode is how you can use the energy of your ancestors and guides to help you in life. Boom, right? Sounds awesome. How do I do that? What does that look like? And in the reading with my friend, I don't even know where to begin. Sorry about the hesitation. I'm laughing because I want to tell the really funny story about how it's not funny, but her husband had passed. And now whenever she connects to Spirit, she only asks for him all the time. But not long ago, before her husband died, she asked for her grandmother all the time. So like in the middle of the reading, her stubborn ass grandmother kept bugging me and like wanting to come forward because she used to be the star of the show and now she's, backstage. So it made me laugh, first of all, but it was a good segue into talking about how you don't need to talk to all of your departed loved ones all the time. You can use them as a tool. And I want to say it that way, which is interesting for me as a medium because I think most people get into this work to talk to their loved ones. Most people go to mediums to have the conversation with your loved ones. But when you're in this work day in, day out, you don't talk to your departed loved ones because they're always there and they always have an opinion. And like, I don't want to, no offense, I love you, family. I'm on my path. I'm doing it. And I don't really lean on my family that much either, to be honest with you, as a medium. I know they're there. I talk to them when I want to talk to them, but sorry, I'm a little selfish. I don't talk to them that often. But what's interesting is how Spirit really explained in this reading with her about how she can use her family, her departed family and guides and ancestors and someone else that we'll talk about in a minute to bring energy in when she needs it. So an example that I'm going to give from her, and then I'll give my own example, and Spirit's heckling in my head right now that I'm going to be short and sweet and to the point. When I talk about my story, I will, I promise. But when we talked about this with her grandfather that had popped in, I asked, who's the grandfather that fixed the pipes? I think I started with who's the grandfather that's a plumber? No grandfather that's a plumber. I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's showing me fixing leaking pipes. And we ended up placing it, and she did have a leaking pipe in her house that she fixed within the last month or so. So evidence, obviously, that he's around, but more so evidence that he was there helping her fix it, even though she's obviously not a plumber, right? So she can call on her departed loved one's energy, their skill sets, their profession, their confidence when you need it. And all you have to do in that moment is call them in for help. She didn't need to because he was already there helping, right? And she fixed the pipe just fine. But this is true for everyone, whether you are spiritually connected or not. I'll give you my very short example for someone who is spiritually connected on what that could look like, right? So one day, my husband was out of town. I was sick of having my 50 plus tarot cards behind me across the room where I had to get up and go get them when I was talking to clients. So I bought some shelves off of Amazon one day, and I wanted to put up the shelves right next to where I'm recording this podcast, right on my wall over here. Waited for my husband to do it for a few days. He didn't do it. That's okay. I love him. We're cool. But what ended up happening is he was late for work or he was traveling or something. And I got so fed up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. So I get the leveler out. I get the drill out. I get the drywall anchors out. And I'm like, I'm going to town and putting the shelves up myself. There's 4 of them. High confidence, low execution. But again, low execution quality. in the middle of me trying to hang up these walls, I suddenly hear my departed grandfather-in-law, my husband's grandfather, in my ear telling me how to hang these shelves. Literally in my ear. Super handy guy. Did not meet him, by the way. He passed before my husband and I started dating. But he was in my ear telling me how to hang these shelves on the wall. And he was specifically telling me which screws to use, which drywall anchors to use. No word of a lie. And I was like bananas. I didn't believe him when he told me to use a certain drywall screw, because like who believes a dead guy in their ear telling him use that drywall screw? Nope, that one's too big. That one won't work. And I'm like, what? This is obviously me 24/7 with spirit. I'm like, I don't believe you. Who are you? Like, I'm not. So what I ended up doing is using the wrong drywall screw, and lo and behold, it didn't fucking work. Like, it was too big. It didn't work. But I can tell you, in that experience where he willingly came in and helped me hang these shelves, I got them hung up. They looked pretty good, even though they were slightly askew. Nothing was falling off. It wasn't exactly level. But he did a great job walking me through it, literally step by step. And I could hear him talking in my ear like he was standing behind me. And it was so rad to be able to I didn't even call on him, to have somebody in my ear kind of walking me as an unskilled person through how to do this. I know it seems basic. I leave all this stuff to my husband. Walking through how to hang these shelves on the wall. And it was so cool, right? So if you're listening to this and you can connect with spirit, like it might not come in as clear as what I'm saying. That's the only time it's come in that clear, by the way. Like it hasn't been that clear since. But I obviously needed the help, and everyone sent in the energy to help me. So I didn't screw it up. But that's what it can look like, is like, maybe you're in the middle of a sewing task and you're like, oh, my great grandmother was a fantastic sewer. She's sewed quilts. Call in her energy to help you so that you minimize how many times you screw up, right? You're still going to screw up because you're not your grandmother, right? You're not your great grandmother, but can she give you a little bit of push of intuition of maybe I need to like go around this corner. Maybe I need to lift the needle up. Oh, I feel like the thread's coming loose. That's what I mean, is like, they might not work through you in the clairaudience sense of the word. Like I heard my step grandfather, right? My in-law grandfather, father-in-law, grandfather-in-law. That's let me work through this. I'm going to call in the ancestry expert next for this, for this podcast. Hey, Steve. But that's what I mean, is you might not experience it as solidly as I did in that one instance. And by the way, again, hasn't happened again, but you might feel it in terms of intuition, feeling like you need to do something, picking up this tool, doing this activity, driving to this thing, right? And when you're calling in your ancestors, it's so important that you rely on your gut, your intuition, because that's how they're going to communicate with you if you don't have an open line of communication with them from an energetic or spirit connection perspective. They'll work through your energy by this feeling of, oh, this is what I should do, or this gut feeling of knowing, or this like feeling of like maybe you suddenly get really tired in the middle of something, or you get really exhausted in the middle of something, and that is spirit coming through to be like, it's time for a break. You're gonna really screw this up. So you need to take a break. So they'll move through you by changing your moods, your energies, changing your intuition, your gut feels to help you with that exercise. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So that's how you can use spirit to help guide you in the things that you're doing. And by the way, one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard, and I continue to use this to this day, was calling in your ancestors to help you parent your children. Because if you know anything about me and my kids, my daughter's a mini me. My son is a mini one of my husband. My son, I talk about my confidence. His confidence is 10 times higher than mine, and his execution is also 10 times lower than mine. So like he's very, very, very confident, not not the best at this point. He's also 11, right? Not the best in terms of execution. Doesn't really stop. He just focuses on his tasks, doesn't look at the periphery. I digress. Anyway, he drives me up a wall because he never listens. And so to me as mom, I go crazy when I have to repeat things more than once. This is just a me problem. I'm going to have to figure this out in the Akashic Records. But I go nuts when I have to repeat myself. It shouldn't have been apparent, let's be honest. But I am. So I go off the handle when I have to repeat things more than 3 times. When I completely lose it, I just literally open up to my ancestors and I'm like, could someone come in and just tell me what to do? And they do. They come in and they soften my energy. They make my heart softer, right? They calm my energy down. They kind of like guide me and point me to the things that I should say nice things about, the things that I should be positive about, helping me see things from a different perspective. How can I help him solve the problem differently so he still feels like he's in control and able to accomplish things, right? But that's what my ancestors will do, is they will help guide me to parent a little better. I said it. Yep, I rely on the dead people to help raise my children. That's my village. So you can do this too. So anytime you feel like anything, you need something, you need energy, you need confidence, you need love, you need clarity, you need help fixing the pipe, help hanging things on the wall, you need help finding the best restaurant in town. Like, it doesn't matter. Call on your guides, call on your loved ones, your ancestors. They are always willing to help you. And then follow whatever they point you to. By the way, one of my favorite one of my favorite social media posts I ever did was literally going to the wine aisle, calling on my Italian ancestors and saying, what bottle do I buy? It's one of my favorites. And they picked out a bottle for me and it was delicious. And it came with a glass wine stop, which I still use to this day, right? So yeah, call on your ancestors. They're rad. Now, here's the fun little twist with this exercise, right? So I talked about ancestors. Your guides are well-versed in everything, so you can certainly call on your guides. It helps I just like the ancestor. I like the personal aspect of it. I like engaging with people that I know and that I trust for these things. You could definitely call on your guides as well, or angels or God or Jesus or whoever you prefer to work with. That's fine too. I like the personal touch of the people that know me and the people whose like literal energy or blood that I know. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a little bit of a difference here. Different levels, different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? Anyway, the only other thing I was going to say is, and it's not little, it's pretty awesome, was that in this reading with my friend, we got to the end and still a little worried about her business. And I'm like, okay, so let me tune into the energy of this business for you. And what was so cool is I was leaning into her husband to give me the information, and he stepped back and this woman stepped forward. And she's old and she itty bitty and she's just all love. And I'm like, who is this woman? And I'm like, I know we talked to your grandmother. It's not your grandmother. And then all of a sudden I heard the words, Mother Teresa. Did you just get goosebumps? I just got goosebumps. I heard the words, Mother Teresa. So I said, so I think this is Mother Teresa. Again, my readings go everywhere. And what I'm hearing is that your work is just like Mother Teresa's work, which is why she's helping guide you in your business, is because you want to love people. You want to help people. You don't want anything in return. You want to give them the tools for them to be able to solve the problems themselves. But you can't stay with anybody. You have to like keep moving on and helping as many people as possible. And I heard in the middle of it, and I haven't Googled it since, I don't know if it's true. I've heard like that's what Mother Teresa does. She gives people the tools, the love, the tools, helping people see the potential that they have. And then she leaves it up to them to solve and solve that problem in themselves and become their best selves or help themselves. And I loved that. And it was a perfect drive-by by Mother Teresa, because my friend loves Mother Teresa, like loves her, remembers a poem from when she was a little girl about Mother Teresa, felt always like tied to her. So what amazing evidence for spirit to come in and use beloved Mother Teresa. I think she's a saint now, right? Saint Teresa. I think she is, right? To come in and deliver this message that this is what you're going to do, and it's a gift from God. So don't worry, you're loved and supported. And if you need anything, just come to me, and we will find a way to love and support and continue your mission to help people, because what she's doing is for God. It's helping and healing people that need that different perspective, the broken people that need that perspective. So I just love that. So this is me telling you, if you feel called to work with certain souls that you didn't actually know, but in this case, like Mother Teresa, call them in. They are willing to help as well. And like, so if you're playing the guitar and you want to be really good, call in Jimi Hendrix, if you want to, I don't know, become an amazing chef, call in, is Julia Child still alive? I don't remember. Yeah. aliveordead.com. That's usually how I find these things out. But like, call in these people that you really look up to, that you aspire to be, and they will help you too. I won't ever forget the first time or I guess the only time, like I'm just sitting in my car and like Vincent van Gogh comes by and I'm like, oh, hey buddy. How did I know? He only had one ear. Sorry. But like literally Vincent van Gogh came by and I'm like, okay, buddy. All right. Good talking with you. Right. Like I feel crazy half the time when I tell you these stories, but they're real. And I probably have told you my, not for today. They said not for today. But there's so many instances where I've kind of run into, I don't know, famous souls, and I'm just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Because they're just souls. They're just like you and I. They've just had a famous lifetime. You bet your butt you've had a famous lifetime too. You have. All of us have. We all try to at least have one of those crazy lifetimes. So you are as equal as these celebrities or these people that you look up to. So if you ever want help from these expert souls, I'm going to say it that way, then call them in for help as well. Because we all know, my grandmother painted, but she ain't no Picasso, right? Right. So sorry, Meme. But you can do that, because I think with the personal, I'm going to say like real life stuff, I definitely lean on my ancestors, but I'm not afraid to call in the experts when I really, really need the help and the guidance. And then my spirit team just went ding, 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 because I have been struggling with some stuff in my mediumship and I can't put my finger on it. And they're like, aren't you going to call in Mavis Patilla? Janet Nahovic, are you going to call them in? And I'm like, damn you. There's my team. They're pulling on my ear. They said they're pulling on my ear. I don't know what that symbol is. It's probably time to go. I'll have to go look that one up. Oh, hi. Hello. So this is what happens when I mention people, dead people's name. They come walking in. I hope you don't mind me doing this. I feel crazy, but Janet Nahovic just stopped by because I just mentioned her name. I worked with her a little bit before she departed, when I used to go to her church her book was her church in New Jersey, and her book was one of the first books that I read. See, I'm all discombobulated because I'm trying to keep this podcast going by talking, but she's talking in my ear. So this is what it's like when you hear me go and say things that make no sense. Usually spirit's talking in my ear. So I'm just going to see what Janet Nahovic came by to say, if you don't mind. 1 second. Oh, and by the way, when she passed, immediately came to me. I think she's having a blast in the spirit world. Maybe we should do a little series on talking to dead celebrities and seeing how that goes. Is that going to make me look like a charlatan? Maybe. We'll see if I can give some evidence about people. Okay. She said she'll work with me. Thanks, Janet. All right. I think that will conclude this episode before I completely go off the deep end. But I just wanted to thank all of you. I hope this makes sense. Let me know. Test it out. Let me know if it made sense. Like, if it, like, I want to hear. I want to hear. Is it awesome? Were you able to solve a couple problems? I'm going to call in a master cleaner that's going to help me keep my house clean and organized. I'm going to call in it's New Year's. Got to lose a couple pounds. I'm going to call in somebody that can keep me motivated to work out. Richard Simmons, folks. He's coming. All right. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.